woman was horrified to see a floating severed arm in front of her. Driven by curiosity, she reached out to touch it, only to discover that it belonged to the deceased Jack. Startled, she quickly let go of the arm, and it miraculously returned to normal. The woman was instantly overcome with panic and fear. She immediately went to check on Jack's corpse, only to find his eyes wide open. Suppressing the terror in her heart, she slowly approached the body, inch by inch, and even listened attentively for any signs of breathing. However, she soon realized that he was already dead. The woman hastily covered the corpse with a white cloth and waited alongside it for the break of dawn. As the scorching sun gradually rose, she once again immersed herself in the task of repairing the escape pod. As time passed, 1 minute and 27 seconds had elapsed. She finally installed the 5th battery, and the moment the machine was powered on, she saw a glimmer of hope for survival. She immediately sat in the control room of the escape pod, attempting to establish contact with the ground to obtain landing coordinates. However, she discovered that communication with the ground was impossible. To make matters worse, the oxygen system was down to a mere 19%. Left with no choice, she resorted to calculations to determine the trajectory and landing coordinates. By the time she finished the calculations and entered the results into the computer, an entire hour had passed. Looking at the countdown in her hands, she knew her chances of survival were slim. With a heavy heart, she left a final message for her family, expressing her longing for her husband and daughter. She then left the tablet in the space station, hoping that her family would one day find the message. She closed the steel door of the escape pod's control room and tightly secured it with screws. After completing these tasks, she put on her escape suit, securely locked the second section of the escape pod, fastened her seatbelt, and connected the oxygen tube. Unexpectedly, another mishap occurred. Just as the woman pressed the detachment button, preparing for the escape pod to separate from the space station, she discovered that bolt number 6 was stuck. Seeing the constantly flashing malfunction light, she immediately consulted the manual, only to find out that it required 2 people working together, both inside and outside, to resolve the issue. However, there was no one else left in the space station, causing the woman to panic instantly. The ground crew, watching the countdown on the screen, still couldn't detect any signs of life above. Everyone was waiting for a miracle to happen, but even in the final second, no distress signal was received from any survivors. At this point, the commander-in-chief took the stage to deliver a eulogy for the astronauts. Unbeknownst to them, as they were paying their respects to Annie, the bolt on the space station miraculously fixed itself. However, just as the escape pod was detaching from the space station, Annie witnessed an eerie sight. There appeared to be a human figure on the space station. Weren't all the people evacuated? What was going on? The instruments didn't detect any signs of life. In a life-or-death situation, she couldn't dwell on it too much. She immediately pressed the escape button, causing the escape pod and control room to disintegrate and rapidly descend towards Earth. The moment she entered the atmosphere, the Earth Space Agency immediately detected the news of a survivor. The hearts of all the staff members finally settled. However, the high-speed movement caused the escape pod to enter a negative pressure state, causing the woman to fall unconscious. As time passed, the escape pod finally landed in an uninhabited desert.